Hello everyone, this is Parrish Black of the Inner City Crusaders and Parrish Black known as Parrish the Prophet. Today is September 19th, 2011, a Monday afternoon, time 5:10 p.m. This is a rebroadcast of my first video I uploaded in YouTube, and this first video is called Parrish's Fulfilled Prophecies, Part 1, 1 of 7. I feel I need to reload this video because I noticed that a great deal of people are not going into my other YouTube channels and to look at my prophecies. So I guess since this particular YouTube channel is the most popular one I have, I feel that the Lord wants me to reload the prophecies I was given in 1990 and such a long time, so you guys can really enjoy the videos I made about future events, and basically so you guys can get a heads up. Okay, so this is my first rebroadcast of Parrish Fulfilled Prophecies Part 1, and I will continue to work up to Parrish Future Prophecies Part 5.
Inner City Crusaders proudly presents Parrish Prophecies. Hi, my name is Parrish Black, and I'm founder and president of the Inner City Crusaders. The Inner City Crusaders is a non-profit, tax-exempt, conservative Christian organization that caters to the spiritual needs of all Americans. The general mission of the Inner City Crusaders is to install the conservative gospel into the inner cities, to instill parish prophecies into the inner cities, and to interject conservative values into the inner cities. The origin of parish prophecy began when the World Trade Towers were brought down by terrorists on September 11, 2001. During the aftermath of 9/11, I remember I might have written something in my dream book about the Twin Towers. After I briefly reviewed my dream book, I then discovered I had indeed lost 3 dreams in my dream book about the World Trade Towers. In fact, I also discovered I made 3 drawings about the Twin Towers. The first dream I had about the towers was dated July 3, 1990. And in this dream I dreamt of 4 walls that were merged into one wall. The second dream was dated July 25, 1990. And in this dream I dreamt I seen the towers and another futuristic building. The third dream was dated March 5, 1992. And in this dream, I dreamt of 3 airplanes that circled over the skyscraper. Then I showed my dream book that contained my dreams and drawings about the towers to my immediate family. But the only person from my immediate family who had taken my dreams about the towers seriously was my father. Then my father told me that I must be some kind of prophet. Next, and during the remaining days of September and many days beyond September 2001, I began to seriously and thoroughly review my dream book. Then I came across a dream and drawing I made about the Concorde. This dream about the Concorde was dated by me in September 27, 1990. I felt the reason why the Concorde dream caught my attention is because I remember the Concorde had gone down on July 25, 2000. At this time, I was tempted to proclaim myself a prophet to my family and to the world, but I changed my mind about proclaiming myself a prophet to the world because I felt I shouldn't wait for another big event I dreamt about come to pass. That in the early part of 2005, I continuously dreamt about black people rioting inside an American city. Then on August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina came ashore in New Orleans, and this hurricane nearly destroyed all of New Orleans. During the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, news report came out that showed black citizens of New Orleans rioting in their city. Then I knew the dreams I had about black people rioting inside an American city were fulfilled in the Katrina incident. But once again, I did not feel confident enough to proclaim myself a prophet to the world. I still felt I needed to dream about something a little more specific. So as I waited patiently for a specific dream to come to pass, I continued to catalog my visions in my dream book. Then in the early part of 2007, I dreamt I seen myself stand over a security desk, and I also heard myself say to someone in this dream, "See, I'm a prophet. See, I'm a prophet." And somewhere in the latter part of 2007, I dreamt about a man who's a tenant inside a Brooklyn building on patrol at night. In this dream, I dreamt I seen this man in the daytime walk around Fulton Street. And then I seen this person fall in the middle of Fulton Street. Next, I noticed blood upon this individual's knees. Then I woke up. Later that evening, I reported to a Brooklyn building that houses the man I dreamt about. And as I entered this building's lobby, I quickly spotted a man I just dreamt about earlier that day. This individual held a conversation with one of my co-workers who stood behind the lobby security desk. As I settled in at the security desk, I heard this person say that in the afternoon he had fallen in the middle of Fulton Street. Then my ears immediately perked up, and for a few seconds I stood behind the security desk speechless. Then I said out loud to this man I dreamt about, I seen you fall in the middle of Fulton Street and also seen blood on your knees. And without any hesitation, this man who had fallen in the streets in my dream stepped back away from the security desk, and he said, I do have blood on my knees. Then I immediately locked my eyes upon his bloody knees. Then I joyfully blurted out, I'm a prophet. See, I'm a prophet. Then this man with the bloody knees said to me cheerfully, I know you are a prophet. So right after my first specific dream came to pass, the one where I seen myself stand behind the security desk and say to someone, see, I'm a prophet. And then when my second specific dream came to pass, the one where I seen this man fall in the middle of Fulton Street, then I received the confidence I needed to proclaim myself a prophet to the whole world. But before I proclaimed myself a prophet to the world, I believe I was led by the Lord to first formalize the inner city crusaders. And then I also believe the Holy Spirit instructed me to make 6 conservative Christian programs that will edify the people of the inner cities. Then I felt led by the Holy Spirit once again to copy my visions from my dream book and then to place them into Parrish Prophecies so that the whole world will know about the visions God had given me. Parrish Prophecies contain 115 prophecies. Parrish Prophecies are divided into 2 sections. Section 1 is called Parrish Fulfilled Prophecies, and Section 1 contains 24 fulfilled dreams and some drawings. Section 1 is in alphabetical order and in numerical order, and this section contains 11 dream categories, which are about 1. Airplanes, 2. Buildings, 3. Brooklyn and Staten Island tornado, 4. Bridge collapse, 5. Columbia Space Shuttle, 6. The Empire State Building, 7. Intuition stories, 8. Mobs, 9. Popes of Rome, 10. Russian submarine incident, and 11. The Twin Towers. There's a proof of evidence segment at the end of Section 1, which contains some drawings are shown in conjunction with some of my dreams are spoken of in the early part of Section 1. I will compare my dream drawings with downloaded pictures I found that will show in a visible way the fulfillment of my dreams in Section 1. Section 2 is called Parrish Future Prophecies, and Section 2 contains 91 future dreams and some drawings. Section 2 is also in alphabetical order and in numerical order, and this section contains 30 dream categories, which are about 1. Arabs, 2. Asteroids, 3. Airplanes, 4. Asians, 5. Black people, 6. Blimp, 7. Buildings, 8. Brooklyn's clock tower, 9. Comets, 10. Chickens, 11. Downtown Brooklyn, 12. Earthquakes, 13. The Empire State Building, 14. Explosion, 15. Famine, 16. Helicopters, 17. Invasions, 18. Intuition stories, 19. Muslims, 20. Meteors, 21. Mobilization of law enforcement, 22. Manhattan, 23. Nukes, 24. Planet X, 25. Pope of Rome, 26. Palestine, 27. Subways, 28. Terrorism, 29. UFO, and 30. Volcano. There's a research finding piece at the end of this section which will show how my dreams in Section 2 can all come to pass. In addition, Parrish Prophecies comes in 3 DVD discs that are approximately 3 hours in length. Now, without further ado, let us explore Parrish Fulfilled Prophecies together. How my dreams in Section 2 can all come to pass. In addition, Parrish Prophecies comes in 3 DVD discs that are approximately 3 hours in length. Now, without further ado, let us explore Parrish Fulfilled Prophecies together. This is disc 1, and this one covers dreams from letter A through letter T. This is section 1, letter A. There's 3 dreams in this segment that begins with the letter A. There's one dream about the Concorde, there's one dream about a small airplane that crashed into a building, and there's a 2-in-1 dream about a Russian plane crash and a Brazilian plane crash. The first number in this segment is the number 1. The segment is called Section 1, One Airplane Dream, or S1, 1AD. In the month of September 27, 1990, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I had an eerie dream that showed me a large triangular black airplane covered in a heavy dark mist, and this object glided out from under a pillar of gray clouds. This huge shadowy airplane projected 3 beams of light from its belly. And this object in my dream had flown over an airport. And I have a drawing of this dream. As you see there, this triangular black airplane-like object had flown over an airport with 3 beams of light which were projected from underneath its belly. The next number in this segment is the number 2. This segment is called S12AD. In the month of November 20th, 2002, I recorded this dream in my dream book. A week ago, I had another dream about the same aircraft that crashed into an elongated building, and that this elongated building was centered between 2 other tall buildings. And I have a drawing of this dream. As you see there, this airplane is heading toward a building which is centered between 2 other tall buildings. The next and last number of this segment is the number 3. This segment is called S13AD. In the month of August 22nd, 2006, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I had a vision that showed me something was about to happen that will involve Russia and Brazil. In this vision or dream, I seen Russian men in uniform, and these Russian men ran on what appeared to me to be steps and railings. It almost looked like they ran on an upper railroad station. Then I heard someone say Ukraine. Also, I remember I told someone inside this dream to keep your eyes on Brazil. The next letter in this section is the letter B. This is section 1, letter B. There's 3 dreams in this segment that begins with the letter B. There's one dream about a building called 1515 Broadway. There's one dream about the Brooklyn and Staten Island tornadoes. And there's one dream about a bridge collapse. The first number of this segment is the number 1. The segment is called section 1, 1.1515 Broadway Dream, or S1, 1.1515 BRWD. In the month of December 16, 1996, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I had a dream that showed me one building on 43rd Street. This building I seen was located in Manhattan. And the number I seen upon this tall white building was 1515 Broadway. The next number in this segment is the number 2. This segment is called section 1, Brooklyn and Staten Island Tornado Dream, or S1, 1BSD. In the month of July 14, 2004, I recorded this dream in my dream book. In this dream, I remember that I'd gone outside for some reason, and then I ran into a man that I had seen before. There on the Brooklyn sidewalk, this stranger asked me if I was going to preach here on Broadway. And I told him if God wants me to preach on Broadway, then I will preach on Broadway. The next thing I recall in this dream was I found myself flat underneath the J train elevated platform for a while. And then I emerged from out underneath this elevated train station so I could fly into the city. And while I was in the air, my eyes suddenly focused upon something that looked like 2 gray tornadoes. I stared at these tornadoes for a few seconds, and then I felt compelled to turn back around so I could return home. And I have a drawing of the stream here, the 2 tornadoes, as you see there. The next and last number in this segment is the number 3. This segment is called section 1, 1 bridge collapse dream, or S1, 1BCP. In the month of January 4, 2007, I recorded this dream in my dream book. In this dream, I remember I had kneeled upon a small sandy patch of land, or some type of little island, and it was evening time. In front of me was this structure that looked like an elevated train station, or more like a bridge that extended its structure onto my left side and onto my right side. Then the next thing I noticed was the left side of this bridge-like structure hanging over a lake that was small. As I looked at this structure closely, I then began to sense fear and awe. From a vantage point, I was unable to see any people on this structure. Then I picked up in my spirit this structure might have been the Brooklyn Bridge or some other kind of bridge inside another city. The next letter in this section is the letter C. This is section 1, letter C. There's one dream in this segment that begins with the letter C. This segment is about the Columbia Space Shuttle. The first number in this segment is the number 1. This segment is called section 1, Columbia Space Shuttle Dream, or S1, 1CD. In the month of April 30th, 1991, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I had a vision, and in this vision I seen 2 small shooting star-like objects that fell from the sky. These shooting star-like objects were sad to look upon because they fell from a very sunny sky. Then the next thing I seen in this dream were 2 small black objects which were stationed on a bed of grass. And I have a drawing of this dream. As you see there, the 2 shooting star-like objects, which which fell from a sunny sky. And then the next and last thing I see in this dream was two black objects which were stationed on a bed of grass. The next letter in this section is the letter E. This is section 1, letter E. There's one dream in this segment that begins with the letter E. This segment is about the Empire State Building. The first number in this segment is the number 1. This segment is called section 1, 1 Empire State Building Dream, or S1, 1ED. In the month of December 16, 1996, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I had a dream that featured several New York City landmarks, and in one of the New York City landmarks, I seen the Empire State Building. This dream was slightly eerie, and I have a drawing of this particular dream. As you see there, Empire State Building, which is in the middle of other two landmarks that I've seen in New York City. This is 1515 Broadway, and this is my drawing of the Brooklyn Bridge. The next letter in this section is the letter I. This is section 1, letter I. There's 9 intuition stories in this segment that begins with the letter I. There's an intuition story about 9/11, the Indian Ocean tsunami, the explosion of a military base in Iraq, Hurricane Katrina, the Virginia Tech shooting, the Peru earthquake, the death of my brother, Barack Hussein Obama, and Hillary Clinton. The first number of this segment is the number 1. The segment is called section 1, 1 intuition story, or S1, 1IS. In the month of September 10, 2001, I recorded this dream recorded this intuition in my dream book. While I sat inside a tub of water, I began to calm my mind and spirit down from the activities of the day. And suddenly, for no reason, I began to cry silently. I prayed and asked God to have mercy because my intuition had told me a great deal of people would lose their lives soon. The next number in this segment is the number 2. This segment is called S12IS. In the month of August 8, 2004, I recorded this intuition story in my dream book. Once again, I meditated inside a tub of water, and while I meditated, I started to cry in my spirit. My intuition told me another major event will take place, and that this coming event will claim a greater number of lives. The next number in this segment is the number 3. The segment is called S13IS. In the month of December 17 and December 20th, I recorded these intuition stories in my dream book. In December 17, 2004, I was abruptly interrupted from doing my duties on my job because suddenly I sensed in my spirit, or my intuition picked up, a great explosion sound. Then in December 20th, 2004, while I rested at home with my wife, suddenly I picked up in my spirit, or my intuition once again picked up, a huge explosion sound. The next number of this segment is the number 4. This segment is called S14IX. In the month of August 12, 2005, I recorded this intuition story in my dream book. My intuition told me while I meditated privately that a very unsettling event would happen soon. The next number in this segment is the number 5. This segment is called S15IX. In the month of April 16, 2007, I recorded this intuition story in my dream book that a very unsettling event would happen soon. The next number in this segment is the number 5. This segment is called S15IX. In the month of April 16, 2007, I recorded this intuition story in my dream book. In April 16, 2007, I woke up from my sleep, and for no reason I shouted out something bad had happened today. The next number in this segment is the number 6. The segment is called S16IS. In the month of August 16, 2007, I recorded this intuition story in my dream book. In August 14, 2007, while I soaked in a tub of water, I began to sense something terrible would happen. Again, my intuition suggested to me that a great cataclysmic event would take place soon, where many souls would be taken off the earth. My intuition then informed me that this cataclysmic event would take place on my side of the planet, and that this coming event will be quite noticeable. The next number in this segment is the number 7. This segment is called S17IS. In the month of August 20th, 2007, I recorded this intuition story in my dream book. While I meditated privately, I began to cry very intensely. The sad feeling I felt was more powerful and more emotional than the other things I picked up in my spirit. This feeling I had was more poignant than my 9/11 tsunami intuition. This new intuition had revealed to me that something personal was about to happen, and that this personal event would affect my family. The next number in this segment is the number 8. The segment is called S18IS. In the months of 2007 and 2008, I recorded these intuition stories in my dream book. For almost 2 years, I told my family and friends that one day you guys will wish that white man was still back in the White House. The next and last number in this segment is the number 9. The segment is called S19IS. Somewhere in the latter part of 2008, my intuition hinted to me that Hillary Clinton would be in the same dining hall with Obama, that she will re-emerge after the New York primary on the same stage of power with Obama. The next letter in this section is the letter M. This is section 1, letter M. There's one dream in this segment that begins with the letter M. This segment is about Mars and people who have gone wild. The first number in this segment is the number 1. The segment is called section 1 Mild Dream, or S1MB. In the month of September 7, 2004, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I had another terrible dream that showed me Mars of black people rioting in the streets of America. And in this dream, I seen in broad daylight black individuals raping and killing one another. The next letter in this section is the letter P. This is section 1, letter P. There's 2 dreams in this segment that begins with the letter P. There's one dream about Pope John Paul II, and there's one dream about Pope Benedict XVI. The first number of the segment is the number 1. The segment is called section 1 Pope Dream, or S11PD. In the month of February 26, 2005, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I dreamt I stood on a line somewhere in New York City, and then I heard someone say something to me. I believe I heard a man say something about the Pope. Then I heard the same voice who had just spoken about the Pope say, the Pope will die, and after the death of the Pope, Rome will then reveal the Antichrist. The next and last number in this segment is the number 2. The segment is called S12PD. In the month of January 26, 2008, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I dreamt that I was in a familiar lobby which I'd seen before. Then I exited this lobby and I walked out onto the streets. While out onto the streets, I quickly noticed a great deal of white people who all wore black clothing. These people I seen also jammed the entrance of St. Patrick Cathedral. I felt I was on 5th Avenue. I also noticed St. Patrick Cathedral was crowded inside. And outside of this church, I seen multitudes of cops and people. The next letter in this section is the letter R. This is section 1, letter R. There's one dream in this segment that begins with the letter R. This dream is about a Russian submarine. The first number of the segment is the number 1. The segment is called section 1 Russian Dream, or S11RD. In the month of April 3, 2003, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I had a dream that featured some kind of trouble at sea. In this dream, I seen a large Navy ship flip over, and I believe sailors may have drowned in the ocean. This dream disturbed me. Also in this dream, I seen a group of men, all looked like they were military people. I witnessed some men being rescued from out of the waters. And I noticed a man who wore a black uniform. And incredibly, my eyes beheld a black bear who stood beside this man in black. The next and last letter in this section is the letter, I do have a drawing of this particular dream where I seen the Navy vessel ship flip over inside the ocean. You see there. And then also, before I left this dream, I seen military men being rescued out of the waters. The next and last letter in this section is the letter T. This is section 1, letter T. There's 3 dreams in this segment that begins with the letter T. There's one dream about the Twin Tower superblock. There's one dream about a proposed Twin Tower substitute. And there's one dream about the Twin Towers aerial attackers. The first number in this segment is the number 1. The segment is called section 1 Twin Towers Dream, or S11TB. In the month of July 3, 1990, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I dreamt I stood beside a shadowy figure, and this shadowy figure and I fashioned our gaze upward, and our upward gaze fell upon a very huge wall that appeared to me to be 4 walls in one. This wall was tall enough to reach into the clouds. And I have a drawing of this dream. At first, it looked like one wall, but before I left this dream, it also looked like there were 4 walls merged into one, and there's me at the bottom pointing up to these walls. and I'm standing next to this shadowy figure that I've just spoken about inside this dream. The next number in this segment is the number 2. This segment is called S12TD. In the month of July 25th, 1990, I recorded this dream in my dream book. During all the dreams I had so far, I can truly say this dream was the strangest. I dreamt one day I was with my brothers Tazo and Anthony. We were on top of a metropolitan roof that overlooked a city. Anthony stood on my left, and I noticed Anthony appeared to enjoy the view. And then I noticed Tazo, who appeared on my right. Tazo smiled as he sat upon a two-legged ladder. As for me, I can only say, after I looked upon my brothers, I then placed my hands over my face because I was so afraid of the view which was around us. But what I seen before I covered my eyes were the Twin Towers and this futuristic building that faced the towers. This futuristic building was taller than the towers, and then I beheld this dark spiral cloud that quietly hovered between the towers, and between the futuristic building. Then suddenly the roof floor beneath us began to buckle. And I have a drawing of this particular dream. As you see there, this is me feeling quite afraid or stressful. This is my brother Anthony, and that's my brother Tazo. Here is the Twin Towers. All this is gray mist clouds around the towers. And also here is the futuristic building I've just spoken about, as you see there. And here's a spiral cloud which stood or hovered between this futuristic building and the Twin Towers. The next and last number in this segment is the number 3. This segment is called S13TD. In the month of March 5th, 1992, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I believe I had a 2-in-1 dream. This first dream was about the Twin Towers, and I believe the second dream was about a future invasion into the United States, which I will speak about in Section 2 of Parrish Future Prophecies. In the first part of this dream, I once again beheld the World Trade Towers, and right away I seen several individuals outside in front of the towers. These individuals held their face fixed upward, and I noticed their faces displayed a look of shock. I too looked upward, and I quickly discovered why these individuals displayed a look of shock. From now, my eyes beheld 3 planes that slowly flown over the skyscrapers. And without warning, sheer terror began to engulf the whole area around the towers. Now I decided to fade out from this nightmare because I knew very well I could easily have a heart attack in my sleep from the fear that suddenly descended upon this place. And I have a drawing of this dream. As you see here, this is me, and there's people outside in front of the towers, and here are the Twin Towers, this dream, and here are 3 airplanes that I've seen, 3 airplanes that hovered over the Twin Towers inside this particular dream I just had. Now we are finished with the dreams in Section 1. So please allow me to present to you proof or evidence that will show my dreams and drawings in Section 1 had all come to pass. Number 1 is S11AD. I believe S11AD was about the coming Concord tragedy, and I believe S11AD was fulfilled in the year 2000. Here's a BBC News article which talks about the fulfillment of my dream. In July 25, 2000, a Concord jet bound for New York had crashed shortly after taking off from Parrish. And I have a BBC News article about this incident, or this dream. As you see there, the Concord. And I have the same drawing that I've drawn about the triangular black aircraft that hovered over an airport. And I believe this dream I had here was about the Concord, like I said earlier. Number 2 is S12AD. S12AD was fulfilled in the year 2006. Here's a New York Daily News article which speaks about the fulfillment of my dream. In October 12, 2006, Corey Lindell, a Yankees pitcher, fiery plane crashed into a high-rise building. Corey Lindell and his flight instructor were killed. I have the Daily News article here about this incident. As you see there, there's fire coming out this apartment building because of this Yankee pitcher's plane which crashed in this apartment building. And also, I have this a daily news article that showed where the plane crashed. The plane crashed here in the middle between two other buildings. See, the incident was here. The plane crash incidents took place here, which were centered between two other buildings, just like I dreamt about. See, with the plane that came and headed towards the center building, which was stationed between two other buildings. The next and last number in this segment is the number 3. Number 3 is the last number in letter A, section 1. Number 3 is S13AD. I believe S13AD were about the coming Russia and Brazil plane incident. And I believe S13AD were fulfilled in the year 2006 and 2007. Here's a BBC News article which speaks about the fulfillment of this specific dream. In August 22, 2006, a Russian plane has crashed in eastern Ukraine, minutes after sending a distress signal, killing all 170 people aboard. And I have a BBC News article about that incident here, as you see, about the Russian plane crash. And here's the MSNBC news report which talks about the fulfillment of my prophetic statement I made in my dream about Brazil. On July 18, 2007, a TAM airline Airbus A320 burst into flames after it tried to land on a short-range slick runway. Death toll were over 100. And here's an MSNBC report about this Brazilian plane crash, which I prophetically spoken about in this particular dream. Next is section 1, letter B. Here's my proof of evidence that shows my dream in this segment had all come to pass. Number 1 is S1 1.1515 BRWD. I believe S1 1.1515 BRWD was about the arrival of MTV to Times Square. And I believe S1 1.1515 BRWD was fulfilled in 1997. I will read a New York Times article which speaks about the fulfillment of my dream. On July 13, 1997, MTV will begin live broadcast in September from Ambiguous New Studios. The 20,000 square foot studio will occupy the mezzanine level of Viacom building at 1515 Broadway. Number 2 is S11BSD. S1BSD was fulfilled in 2007. Here's a Newsday.com report which talks about the fulfillment of my dream. In August 8, 2007, tornadoes like the one that touched down Wednesday in Brooklyn and Staten Island are rarity in New York. Meteorologists believe Wednesday's storm produced the first tornado in Brooklyn since 1889. And I have the Newsday.com report about those two tornadoes, one which landed in Brooklyn and the other one which landed in Staten Island. The next and last number in this segment is the number 3. Number 3 is the last number in letter B, section 1. Number 3 is S11BCD. S11BCD was, let me show the dream drawing also about the tornadoes that I dreamt about. And I just already showed the Brooklyn Staten Island article, which about the two tornadoes that landed. One landed in Brooklyn and the other one landed in Staten Island. Okay. Number 3 is S11BCD. S11BCD was fulfilled in 2007. I will read a CNN News article which writes about the fulfillment of my dream. In August 2nd, 2007, the I-35W bridge over the Mississippi in Minneapolis collapsed during rush hour, plunging dozens of cars and their occupants into the river. 11 people were killed. Next is section 1, letter C. Here's my proof of evidence that shows in this segment that my dream had come to pass. Number 1 is S11CD. I believe S11CD was about the coming space shuttle Columbia disaster. I believe S11CD was fulfilled in 2003. I will read a Wikipedia.org news report which speaks about the fulfillment of my dream. In February 1st, 2003, Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrated over Texas during re-entry into Earth's atmosphere with the loss of 7 crew shortly before concluding its 28th mission. And I have a picture of the 7 crew people that died in the Space Shuttle Columbia when Space Shuttle Columbia made re-entry back into the Earth's atmosphere. And I also have another picture of the Space Shuttle breaking up, falling out of the sky. And as you see here, it looks like 2 shooting star-like objects. And this is why I believe this particular dream came to pass, because I have a drawing of what I showed earlier about this particular dream. 2 shooting star-like objects which fell from a sunny sky. And the last thing I see in this particular dream, like I said earlier, was 2 black objects which were stationed on a bed of grass, which represented birth charge remains of Space Shuttle Columbia. Next is section 1, letter E. Here's my proof of evidence that will show my dreams in this segment had all come to pass. Number 1 is S11ED. I believe S11ED was about the common shooter incident that took place at the Empire State Building. And I believe S11ED was fulfilled in 1997. Here is a CNN news piece which talks about the fulfillment of my dream. In February 24th, 1997, a man opened fire on an observation deck of the Empire State Building, killing 1 person and wounding 6 before shooting himself in the head. And here's a CNN article about this situation. You see there, top exploded person is the Empire State Building. And here's the person that had done the shooting on the observation deck. His name is Abu Kamal. You can see here, this is the person. And he also had taken himself out after he shot people at the observation deck. And remember the drawing that I made about the incident, about the dream. I picked up that something was eerie around, or was an eerie feeling around the Empire State Building. About the dream, I picked up that something was eerie around, or was an eerie feeling around the Empire State Building. Next is section 1, letter I. Here's my proof of evidence that show my intuition stories in this segment had all come to pass. Number 1 is S11IS. I believe S11IS was about the coming terrorist attack in September 11, 2001. And I believe S11IS was fulfilled on 9/11. I will read a Wikipedia article that speaks about the fulfillment of my intuition story. 9/11 consisted of a series of coordinated terrorist suicide attacks by Islamic extremists upon the United States of America. Number 2 is S12IS. I believe S12IS was about the coming Indian Ocean tsunami. I believe S12IS was fulfilled in December 26, 2004. Here's a BBC News report that talks about the fulfillment of my intuition story. A magnitude 9.3 earthquake ripped apart the seafloor off the coast of northwest Sumatra. More than 200,000 people lost their lives on this day. And I have the BBC News article about that tsunami that washed over 200,000 people into the ocean. Number 3 is S13IS. I believe S13IS was about the coming explosion at a U.S. military base in Iraq. I believe S13IS was fulfilled in December 21st, 2004. Here's a BBC News report that speaks about the fulfillment of my dream. U.S. suffered worst Iraq attack yet. 19 U.S. soldiers have been killed in an explosion at a U.S. military base in Mosul, making it the worst single incident for U.S. military in Iraq. And here's a BBC News article about this dream, or about this intuition I picked up, about hearing an explosion sound. Number 4 is S14IS. I believe S14IS was about the coming Katrina incident. I believe S14IS was fulfilled in August 29, 2005. I will read a BBC News article that speaks about the fulfillment of my intuition story. Reports of murder, rape, and violence among the thousands trapped in New Orleans shelters in the wake of Hurricane Katrina shocked the world. I have a news article or a picture about that incident. As you see there, multitudes of people outside of the Superdome, and inside the Superdome there were reports of rape, murder, and all other terrible things that have taken place inside the Superdome after Hurricane Katrina had blown over New Orleans. Also, I have another picture here that shows people trying to tell the state trooper about the terrible things that's going on in broad daylight. And as you see there, the state trooper are just continuously driving down the streets there. And as you see, people is trying to get the state trooper attention. And as you see, the state trooper are not listening to anyone during this time, or at this time. Number 5 is S15IS. I believe S15IS was about the Cumming Virginia Tech shooting. I believe S15IS was fulfilled in April 16, 2007. Here's an MS News report that wrote about the fulfillment of my intuition story. Charles Hugh, 23, a senior English major at Virginia Polytech Institute and State University in Blacksburg, killed 32 people in 2 attacks before taking his own life. And I have the MSN article about this person that shot the people at Virginia Tech. Number 6 is S16IS. I believe S16IS was about the Common Peru earthquake. I believe S16IS was fulfilled in August 15, 2007. Here's a BBC News piece that talks about the fulfillment of my intuition story. The governor of Peru has made an emergency appeal for more tents for the 200,000 people made homeless by the devastating earthquake. In addition, many people had died. I think it was over 500 people. And here's a BBC News article about that Peru earthquake, which to me was a fulfillment of my intuition, pertaining to feeling something very bad or something big was going to take place on my side of the planet. And Peru is south of the border of America. Number 7 is S17IS. I believe S17IS was about the coming death of my brother Tazel. I believe S17IS was sadly fulfilled in November 5th, 2007. Here's a little pamphlet about, death of my brother here, as you see there. It was a very bad day. And I believe my intuition, gut feeling about something bad was going to happen to my family came to pass. Okay. Number 8 is S18IS. I believe S18IS was about the coming presidency of Barack Hussein Obama. I believe S18IS was fulfilled in January 2009 when Obama was sworn in as America's 44th president and America's first black president. The next and last number in this segment is the number 9. Number 9 is the last number in letter I, section 1. Number 9 is S19IS. I believe S19IS was about the coming confirmation of Hillary Rodham Clinton as the new Secretary of State, and I believe S19IS was also fulfilled in January 2009. Next is section 1, letter M. Here's my proof of evidence that showed my dream in this segment had all come to pass. Number 1 is S11MD. I believe S11MD was about the common Hurricane Katrina incident, and I believe S11MD was fulfilled in 2005. Here's a BBC News piece which talks about the fulfillment of my dream. On September 29, 2005, the city police chief spoke of babies being raped. Mayor Ray Nagin told stories of Superdome evacuees watching hooligans killing people, raping people. Next, and here's the article about what was going on during Hurricane Katrina. Next is section 1, letter P. Here's my proof of evidence that showed my dreams in this segment had all come to pass. Number 1 is S11PD. S11PD was fulfilled in 2005. Here's a BBC News article which speaks about the fulfillment of my dream. On April 3, 2005, Pope John Paul III, Pope John Paul II, the third longest serving pontiff in history, has died at the age of 84. And here's a BBC News article about Pope John Paul second. We're done. The next and last number of this segment is the number 2. Number 2 is the last number in letter P, section 1. Number 2 is S12PD. I believe S12PD was about the coming arrival of Pope Benedict to New York City, and I believe S12PD was fulfilled in 2008. I will read it in About.com news report which speaks about the fulfillment of my dream. On April 19, 2008, the 5th day of his first apostolic journey to the United States, Pope Benedict XVI became the first apostolic ever to celebrate a Mass in St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. While the Mass limited to 2,200 priests and male and female religious, it was in some way even more impressive than the public Mass that the Holy Father held in National Stadium in Washington, D.C., and Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. And I have, let's see. Next is section 1, letter R. Here's my proof of evidence that showed my dream in this segment had all come to pass. Number 1 is S11RD. S11RD was fulfilled in 2003. Here's a BBC News article which talks about the fulfillment of my dream. On October 13, 2003, a Russian Navy captain has launched an outspoken attack on the equipment used to tow a nuclear submarine which sank in the Barents Sea, killing 9 people. And here's the BBC News report about the fulfillment of my dream here, as you see there. And remember in this dream I've spoken about that I seen a man in black uniform. Okay, this is the person I seen. Then beside the man who wore all black, I seen a black bear. Well, the black bear symbolized Russia. And this is what I dreamt about, and that's why I believe this dream came to pass. And also, once again, I'm going to show the drawing I made about the Navy vessel that flipped over or flipped upside down in the ocean. And as you see there, some people I dreamt about were also rescued during this terrible time at sea for the sailors. The next and last letter in this proof of evidence segment is the letter T. Letter T is the last letter in section 1. Here's my proof of evidence that shows my dreams in this segment had all come to pass. Number 1 is S11TD. I believe S11TD was about the coming collapse of World Trade Center 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I believe S11TD was fulfilled in 2001. I will read a 9/11 research article that talks about the fulfillment of my dream. On September 11, 2001, the World Trade Center super block held buildings 3, 4, and 5. Building 3, 4, 5, and 6. All of these buildings were severely damaged by falling rubble from the towers and then by fire that burned for hours. And okay, and remember I drawn about this dream about seeing one wall, but actually it was 4 walls in one. Well, the 4 walls represented, in my opinion, represented building, let's see here, representing building 3, 4, 5, and 6. Number 2 is S12TD. S12TD was fulfilled in 2003. Here's a New York Daily News article which speaks about the fulfillment of my dream. On January 22, 2003, Boston firm wants Antonio Gaudi's 1908 proposal for skyscraper to rise at World Trade Center. And here's the Daily News article about what the architects at that time wanted to replace the World Trade Tower with. As you see there, this is what they wanted to replace at first, the World Trade Tower with. And remember, I dreamt about a futuristic building that stood beside the World Trade Tower. See, as you see there, this is my vision of what I've seen in this dream. Pertaining to this futuristic building. As you see there, there's a tall building in the middle with like a string or bowl here around his neck, and there's several buildings like connected to it. There's another building, and as you see here, there's horizontal slit for windows. And if you let me show this article again. You see here, that's what I dreamt. Something similar. This is what the architect wanted to first replace the World Trade Tower with. You see the tall building here. You see buildings next to it. And you see slits or horizontal slits for windows. And like I said, there was a ring, which I've seen. And this futuristic building that I dreamt about. That's why I believe this particular dream has come to pass. The next and last number in this segment is the number 3. Number 3 is the last number in letter T, section 1. Number 3 is S13TD. S13TD was fulfilled in 2001. I will read a research article about the fulfillment of my dream. American Airlines Flight 11 is the first plane that hit the World Trade Center North Tower. United Airlines Flight 175 was the second plane that hit the World Trade Center South Tower, and American Airlines Flight 77 is the third plane that hit the Pentagon. And
okay, this is Parrish Black. Today is September 20th, 2011, a Tuesday night, time 11:38 p.m. Yes, I've spoken about observing 3 airplanes flying over the World Trade Tower in my dream that showed me that the World Trade Tower will be put under attack. And after the dream and after more or less 9/11, 2011 did happen. And some years later I found out that a plane possibly have not crashed into the Pentagon, that a missile have crashed into the Pentagon, and that the third plane that's supposed to have crashed in the Pentagon was actually destroyed somewhere, and that the other airplane, I think, that had flown around Pennsylvania, was people reported seeing jets blowing up that plane in the sky, and there was a movie made about it, that the plane crashed into Pennsylvania. Okay, but in actuality, what everyone saw on September 11th, 2001, were 2 airplanes that crashed into the World Trade Tower, which is once again American Airlines Flight 11, United Airlines Flight 175. So when I had this dream of seeing 3 airplanes, the 3 airplanes in my dreams will manifest themselves in my waking state, because 2 crashed into the World Trade Tower, which I said once again is American Airlines Flight 11, United Airlines Flight 175, and the third airline I found out was the one. Well, it was an airplane that crashed into a Queens neighborhood in November 12, 2001. And this aircraft was called American Airlines Flight 587 and Airbus A300. So 2 months later, after 9/11, a airplane crashed in Queens, New York. So actually, there were 3 airplanes that was involved, crashing in New York. 2 airplanes crashed into the towers, and 2 months later, an airplane crashed into a New York City neighborhood. So my dreams of seeing 3 airplanes flying around the World Trade Tower more or less came to pass in that way. 2 crashed in the World Trade Tower and 1 crash in Queens, New York. So more or less my dream is telling me that there's going to be 3 airplanes that's going to crash or hit their target here in New York City. And wow. So it's like when I have these dreams, of seeing this and that, some of these dreams may have different time periods when one object may materialize sooner than the other. So the two airplanes crashed into the World Trade Tower, and the third airplane I seen flying around was scheduled to crash 2 months later after the World Trade Tower. So I just wanted to tell you guys that, because that's the information I found out later. And I remember that day when this airplane crashed into Queens in November. I couldn't believe it. I mean, people, me, as a native New Yorker, we were still in the state of panic of what happened in 9/11, because I was upon my roof and I seen one of the World Trade Towers on fire. And I didn't get a chance to see the other World Trade Tower collapse, but I seen it with my own naked eye, because upon my roof during that time period, 2001, I was able to see the World Trade Tower in the, how would I say it, in the northwestern sky, So, wow. Okay, let me just continue with this.
And once again, I'm going to show the drawing of this dream I had about the World Trade Tower, where I've seen 3 airplanes which flown over the Twin Towers. And the 3 airplanes that had flown over the Twin Towers were, in my opinion, were American Airlines Flight 11, with also United Airlines Flight 175, and the third plane was American Airlines Flight 77. Even though there were 4 planes that were hijacked, but in actuality, there were 3 planes that had reached their targets. Now we are finished with section 1, which dealt with Parrish fulfilled prophecy. Now let us venture into section 2, which will deal with Parrish future prophecy.
Hello everyone, this is Parrish Black of the Inner City Crusaders, and Parrish Black, also known as Parrish the Prophet. Today is October 7th, 2011, a Friday morning, time 12:51 a.m. This video is a rebroadcast of a video I made in 2009. This video is about Parrish Fulfilled Prophecies, Part 2.
Inner City Crusaders proudly presents Parrish Prophecy 2. Hi, my name is Parrish Black, and I'm founder and president of the Inner City Crusaders. The Inner City Crusaders is a non-profit, tax-exempt, conservative Christian organization that caters to the spiritual needs of all Americans. The general mission of the Inner City Crusaders is to install a conservative gospel into the inner cities, to instill parish prophecies into the inner cities, and to implement conservative Christian values back into the inner cities. The reason why I made Parrish Prophecy 2 is because I'm still receiving visions of the apocalypse. Parrish Prophecy 2 contains 60 prophecies, and Parrish Prophecy 2 is divided into 2 sections. Section 3 is called Parrish Fulfilled Prophecy 2, and Section 3 contains 3 fulfilled dreams and 1 item. Section 3 is in alphabetical order and numerical order, and this section contains 3 dreams categories, which are about 1. Alligators, 2. Earthquake, 3. The return of my father. There's a proof of evidence segment at the end of Section 3. Section 4 is called Parrish Future Prophecy 2, and Section 4 contains 57 future dreams and some drawings. Section 4 is also in alphabetical order and in numerical order, and this section contains 38 dream categories, which are about 1. Asteroid, 2. 3 airplane dreams, 3. 2 atomic bomb dreams, 4. African soldiers, 5. American attacking one another, 6. Asian war, 7. Australia, 8. Armed civilians, 9. Bridge, 10. 2:15 Broadway dream, 11. Black men, 12. Black women, 13. Barcode, 14. 2 clock tower dreams, 15. Comets, 16, cars. 17, Empire State Building. 18, 2 food shortage dreams. 19, famine. 20, 4 flood dreams. 21, human hunting one another. 22, hotel. 23, 9 intuition story dream. 24, Jews. 25, Koreans. 26, moon. 27, meteor. 28, 2 nuclear dreams. 29, 2 project dreams. 30, planet X. 31, red dragon. 32, sun. 33, storms. 34, spoken dream. 35, telescope. 36, uniform. 37, Vatican. And 38, war. There's also a research finding piece at the end of this section, which will show how my dreams in section 4 can all come to pass. In addition, Parrish Prophecy 2 comes in 3 DVD discs that are approximately 3 hours in length. Now, without further ado, let us explore Parrish Fulfilled Prophecy 2 together. This is section 3, letter A. There's one dream in this segment that begins with the letter A. There's one dream about an alligator. The first number in this segment is the number 1. This segment is called section 3, One Alligator Dream, or S3 1ALD. In the month of January 29, 2009, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I seen myself downstairs in the front part of my house, which is located on Halsey Street. Then I noticed a very large alligator which came through the front door, and this creature walked towards the kitchen. I got the impression that this alligator or creature was once a pet to some person, or possibly this pet had grown too big to be kept as a domestic animal, and the alligator owner probably had to put this beast to the streets. Next, I see my father hold the mouth of this alligator so that he can guide this creature into a large box which laid conveniently on the dining room floor. The alligator walked inside the box without any incident. Then I noticed how sad this alligator looked to me. The last thing I seen in this particular dream was the alligator's fecal matter neatly displayed at the entrance of the box. Then I woke up. The next letter in this section is the letter E. This is section 3, letter E. There's one dream in this segment that begins with the letter E. There's one dream about an earthquake. The first number in this segment is the number 1. This segment is called section 3, One Earthquake Dream, or S3 1EAD. In the month of February 12, 2006, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I dreamt I was inside a small room or inside a small store, and then the earth shook for about 1 or 2 seconds. I believe I was somewhere in New York City. This is the second time in this month I dreamt about a light earthquake in New York City or around New York City. The next and last letter in this section is the letter F. This is section 3, letter F. There's one dream in this segment that begins with the letter F. There's one dream about my father. The first number in this segment is the number 1. This segment is called section 3, One Father Dream, or S3 1FD. In the month of September 5th, 2006, I recorded this dream in my dream book. I found myself in a kitchen with my father. It was nighttime, and it was semi-cloudy outside. Then I looked out the kitchen window, and I seen the moon. Then from nowhere, a comet appeared in the night sky. After I beheld this comet in the sky, I then ran into my room to get my dream book, so I could show my book of dreams that contained several entries and drawings I made about comets to my father. Then I finally retrieved my book of dreams. So then I proceeded to show my father the number of times I prophesied in writing about the arrival of many comets. Then I heard an audible voice say to me, the year 2013, P.S. I told someone in this dream that this particular comet I seen in this dream will hit the moon, and then fragments from the moon will ricochet towards Earth. Now we are finished with the dreams in this section. So please allow me to present to you proof or evidence that will show my dreams in section 3 have all come to pass. Here's my proof or evidence that shows my dream in section 3, letter A, had come to pass. Number 1 is S31 AD. S31 AD was fulfilled when I found a toy alligator, which is this toy alligator, in my father's room, and when my father paid me for helping him bring in his furniture into the house. The fecal matter I seen in section 3:1 AD is a symbol dream that represents money. Next is section 3, letter E. Here's my proof or evidence that shows my dream in this segment had come to pass. Number 1 is S31 EAD. S31 EAD was fulfilled in February 2009. Here's a news article which talks about the fulfillment of my dream, dated Sunday, February 15, 2009, and it reads, "For the second time in 2 weeks, a small earthquake has rattled an area of central New Jersey. But like the last quake in Morris County, no significant damage or injuries were reported. The latest earthquake was at magnitude 2.2. On February 2, 2009, a magnitude 3.0 earthquake was centered in Rockaway, Donver, and Morris Plain, New Jersey." The next and last letter in this proof or evidence segment is the letter F. Here's my proof or evidence that the next and last letter in this proof or evidence segment is the letter F. Here's my proof or evidence that shows my dream in this segment had come to pass. Number 1 is S31FD. I believe S31FD was partially fulfilled because when I had recorded this dream in the year 2006, my father moved out of our home where my other immediate family lived in the year 2005. And for almost 4 years, my father lived on his own until he decided to return home in January 2009. I truly believe since my father returned home for good, then his return means to me that the many other dreams I had, which included my father, will probably happen very soon. Now we are finished with section 3, which dealt with Parrish fulfilled prophecy 2. Now let us venture into section 4, which will deal with Parrish future prophecy 2. This is the end of this one. Thank you for viewing this disc. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Parrish Black of the Inner City Crusaders and Parrish Black, also known as Parrish the Prophet. Today is October 21st, 2011, a Friday night, time 8:27 p.m. This is a rebroadcast of Parrish's Fulfilled Prophecy Part 3.
The Inner City Crusaders proudly presents Parrish Prophecy 3. Hi, my name is Parrish Black, and I'm founder and president of the Inner City Crusaders. The Inner City Crusaders is a non-profit, tax-exempt, conservative Christian organization that caters to the spiritual needs of all Americans. The general mission of the Inner City Crusaders is to install a conservative gospel into the inner cities, to instill Parrish prophecy into the inner cities, and to implement conservative values back into the inner cities. The reason why I made Parrish Prophecy 3 is because I was finally shown in a vision what will happen to the Empire State Building, and I was also given new visions about coming disasters that will affect the American people in many deadly ways. Parrish Prophecy 3 is divided into 2 sections. The first section in Parrish Prophecy 3 is called Section 5. And Section 5 contains 2 fulfilled dreams. Section 5 is in alphabetical order and in numerical order. And this section contains one dream category that are about 2 intuition stories that have come to pass. There's a proof of evidence segment at the end of section 5. The next section is called section 6, and section 6 is about Parrish Future Prophecy 3. Section 6 contains 25 future dreams and some drawings. Section 6 is also in alphabetical order and in numerical order. And this section has 16 dream categories, which are about 1, black women, 2, a black man, 3, a coup or taking over of America, 4, the Empire State Building, 5, famine, 6, a flood, 7, 10 intuition stories, 8, Iran, 9, the moon, 10, a nuclear device, 11, the old Pan Am building, 12, a solar eclipse, 13, the sky, 14, the sun, 15, a tree, and 16, a white couple. There is also a research finding piece at the end of section 6, which will help to show how my dreams and intuitions in section 6 can all come to pass. Parrish Prophecy 3 comes in 2 DVD discs that are approximately 1 hour long. Now, without further ado, let us explore Parrish Fulfilled Prophecy 3 together. This is section 5, letter I. There are 2 intuition stories in this segment that begin with the letter I. There are 2 intuition stories that are about a booming sound. These 2 intuition stories come from Parrish Future Prophecy 2, and these 2 intuition stories are S45IS and S47IS. The first number in this segment is the number 1. This segment is called section 5/S45IS or S5/S45IS. In the month of May 2nd, 2009, I recorded this intuition story in my dream book. At 10:30 p.m., while I sat inside White Castle, which is located in downtown Brooklyn, New York, I picked up in my spirit, or my spiritual mind had picked up a very strong earthquake vibration, which contained a kind of downwind compression system that my head and shoulder felt for about 2 seconds. The sound I heard in my spiritual mind sounded like 100 thunderclaps, like the air around my ears and chest bubbled with the powerful sounds of thunderclaps, which exploded inside every air molecule around me. The next and last number in this segment is the number 2. This segment is called section 5/S47IS or S5/S47IS. In the month of July 1st, 2009, I recorded this intuition story in my dream book. Today on Wednesday, time 12:27 p.m., I picked up in my spirit another explosive, bubbling, booming sound. This psychic, explosive sound came to me as I sat inside my room on Halsey Street, Brooklyn, New York. The psychic sound came from my window and into my right ear. Then this psychic sound had filled my head for about 1 second. Now we are finished with the intuition stories from section 5. So please allow me to present to you proof or evidence that will show how my intuitions in section 5 had all come to pass. Number 1 is S5/S45IS. S5/S45IS was fulfilled when in June 12, 2009, when my mother heard a powerful thunderclap that she said sounded like 100 thunderclaps. Then my mother said that the thunderclap had shook our house on Halsey Street, and my wife told me on this thunderous night that the thunderclap had wakened her from out of her sleep. Later that night, I found out that other people as far away as New Jersey and Connecticut have heard the powerful thunderclap. And number 2 is S5/S47IS. S5/S47IS had come to pass on Monday, October 4th, 2009, when my wife and my best friend nephew and I had all heard loud booming sound emanating from a cloudless, full moon lit night. These mysterious booming sounds were heard in our neighborhood of Bedford-Stuyvesant. Now we are finished with section 5, which dealt with Parrish fulfilled prophecy 3. Now let us venture into section 6, which will deal with Parrish future prophecy 3. This is the end of this one. Thank you. The Inner City Crusaders proudly presents Parrish Prophecy 4. Hi, my name is Parrish Black, and I'm founder and president of the Inner City Crusaders. The Inner City Crusaders is a non-profit, tax-exempt, conservative Christian organization that caters to the spiritual needs of all Americans. The general mission of the Inner City Crusaders is to install a conservative gospel into the inner cities, to instill parish prophecies into the inner cities, and to implement conservative values back into the inner cities. Parrish Prophecy 4 was to be released in the summer of 2010, but once again I felt led by the Holy Spirit to quickly release Parrish Prophecy 4 unto the public, because I felt a day will come when prophetic speech will be banned here in America. Parrish Prophecy 4 is divided into 2 sections. The first section in Parrish Prophecy 4 is called Section 7. And Section 7 is about Parrish fulfilled dream. Section 7 contains 1 fulfilled dream and 1 drawing. Section 7 contains 1 dream category about an airplane accident. And there's a proof of evidence segment at the end of Section 7. The next section is called Section 8. And Section 8 is about Parrish future prophecy. Section 8 contains 14 future dreams and some drawings. Section 8 is in alphabetical order and in numerical order. Section 8 has 12 dream categories, which are about 1, 2 dreams about airplanes, 2, the Brooklyn Clock Tower, 3, downtown Brooklyn, 4, 1 intuition story, 5, the Linda Plaza apartment buildings, 6, New York City, 7, 2 dreams about planets, 8, the sky, 9, a subway incident, 10, the sun, 11, a train incident, and number 12 is about young black men. There's a research finding piece at the end of Section 8, which will help to show how my dreams and intuition in Section 8 can all come to pass. Parrish Prophecy 4 comes in 2 DVD discs that are approximately 1.5 hours long. Now, without further ado, let us explore Parrish fulfilled Prophecy 4 together. This is Section 7, letter A. There's 1 dream in this segment that begins with the letter A. There's 1 dream about an airplane crash. The first number in this piece is the number 1. This piece is called Section 7, 1 Airplane Dream, or S7, 1 AID. In the month of December 23rd, 2009, I recorded this dream inside my dream book. Today I dreamt that I was outside somewhere and it was daytime. I stood inside an alley, and then my eyes gazed upon a light-skinned black woman who was pointing her finger at a young woman who might have been her daughter. I think the black woman wanted me to speak to her daughter, but I did not feel like speaking to the young woman. Then I turned around, and my eyes fell upon a couple of young black men, and I seen one of these young black men holding a large orange ball in his hand. And after I spotted these young black men, I then turned back around and I faced the young girl I faced earlier inside this dream. And then I looked over the girl's shoulder and I spotted several small green hills, which reminded me of Fort Greene Park, which is located in Brooklyn, New York. Then all of a sudden, I heard a gigantic airline fly overhead. Then I looked up into the sky, and then I spotted a commercial plane displaying the words American Airline on its side. this plane flown very low to the ground. And then I noticed a small brownish or orange jet flying beneath the American airline. And this jet had clipped the left wing of the commercial plane. Then the American airline crashed upon the grounds before me. Then I and other people around me ran for cover inside something that looked like a small mall. Some of the black smoke from the plane crash had also entered this facility the people and I have ran into. Then I told the people who were hiding out in the mall with me not to inhale the smoke from the plane. The last thing I seen inside this room was the American airline stationed on the ground, and I woke up. And I have here a drawing that I made about the American airline that I seen fly in the sky above me. And in this dream, as I said, I seen a brownish or orange plane or jet, actually a jet, clip the left wing of the American airline. Now, here's my proof of evidence that shows my dreams in Section 7, Letter A had come to pass. This is Section 7, Letter A. Number 1 is S71AID. S71AID was fulfilled when I found out in December 24, 2009 from George Norrie, who is the radio talk show host of Coast to Coast AM radio program, which airs on 77 WABC radio. This radio broadcaster said around 1:15 a.m. an American airline had crashed in Jamaica. 150 people were aboard, and there were no reports of deaths from this plane crash. After I listened to this radio host, I began to remember that I might have dreamt about an American airline going down a day ago, but I was not sure. So I was not sure if I actually dreamt about this particular plane crash. So I retrieved my dream book, and lo and behold, I discovered that I had indeed dreamt about this plane incident. And once again, I want to show the drawing I made of the American airline. As you see here, once again I would state I seen a brownish or orange jet underneath the American airline, which flown very low to the ground, and this brownish or orange jet clipped the left wing of the American airline. And on the internet, I downloaded a picture of what an American airline that I seen in this dream looked like, and I just have here, I downloaded a profile of the American airline so you can get an idea what the American airline looks like. And then I actually downloaded pictures of the American airline that have crashed in Jamaica. And I want to point out that this thing I downloaded off the internet shows the American airline on the ground, as you see here. And I also wanted to show that the left wing of this American airline that crashed in Jamaica was clipped. And I will show 2 more pictures that I downloaded from the internet that will show close-up shots of the American airline which crashed in Jamaica. But I want to once again demonstrate and show that here you see there's an aerial picture here that shows the left wing of the American airline clipped off, and there's another one down here of the same plane, and here, as you see, from another angle, the left wing of the American airline have been clipped. And this is why I believe that this particular dream about the American Airlines seeing fly overhead, and the dream I just mentioned about, and was fulfilled on December 23rd, 2009. And yes, I seen a jet underneath the American Airline, and I just want to also say that this jet that I see could have actually been a real jet that clipped the left wing of the American Airline, or this jet I've seen inside this dream could have been a symbol of the American Airline as being an American Airline jet. Later I found out that planes are also called jets. I always thought that a jet was just a small plane that flown very fast. But no, I discovered recently that a jet is a plane that has jet engines on its side. So whether an actual small jet clipped the left wing of the American Airline, or the dream was telling me that this American Airline would be a jet, and that this American Airline would go down somewhere on the earth. Now we are finished with the dream in section 7, which dealt with Parrish fulfilled prophecy 4. Now let us venture into section 8, which will deal with Parrish future prophecy 4. This is the end of disc 1.
This is section 9, part 5, letter A. There are 10 proof of evidence pieces for the letter A. There are 4 signs for 4 different dreams, 4 signs for one dream, and 2 signs for another dream. The first dream comes from part 2, section 4, letter A, and its call name is S41AATOD. And this call name, S41AATOD, will have a drawing which I will use 4 times for this particular dream with the call name S41AATOD. The reason why we use the same drawing to show you the audience, because I know that people have short memories, and I don't want people to get confused with other dreams, drawings that has airplanes in them. And I just want to emphasize this one particular drawing of an airplane that I seen in my dream. And like I said, I would like to use the same drawing for the same call letter, which is S41AATOD, because people have short memories, and there will be other drawings that will show airplanes, and I don't want people to get confused with other drawings that I will use that show airplanes that I've seen in my dream. Okay. In the month of March 17th, 2009, I dreamt that I stood on top stoop of my house here at Halsey Street, and that I spotted across the street over the homes in my view was a gigantic cloud shaped like boomerang. And then a humongous airplane appeared from behind this weird looking cloud. And I have a drawing of what I dreamt. This is what I seen in my dreams. Like I said, I will use the same drawing of an airplane. Also, I will also use the same drawing of this boomerang cloud that I dreamt, that I seen. And after I seen this boomerang cloud, I seen a humongous airplane behind the boomerang cloud. So this is what I seen in my dream. Okay, if you can see it here, this is what I seen. These are home across the street from my house here, Halsey Street. And this is the boomerang cloud that I see in my dream. And here's the first proof of evidence for Section 9, letter A, and the first sign for S41AA TOD coming fulfillment, which was presented to me in the month of September 23rd, 2009, when I stood on the top stoop of my home, and then I began to place my house key into the keyhole so that I can't enter my home. But before I got the chance to turn the key fully so I can enter into my home, my front door, I heard a loud roaring sound coming from the southeastern direction. I turned around towards the loud sound, and then I spotted a big white airplane ascending from behind the homes across the street from me. This particular airplane looked a little bit like Air Force One, and I have a crude drawing of what I seen when I attempted to put my key into the doorway so I could enter into my house. And this is a drawing of what I actually seen that day. The airplane that looked a little bit like Air Force One. And like I say, it's a crude drawing, but this is what I seen. Coming above, flying above the trees across the street from the homes across the street from me, and this is what I seen here. Like I said, it's a crude drawing, and this airplane came from, I'm standing here, behind me, behind this house is the north, in front of me is the south, to my right is the west, to my left is the east, and I seen the plane fly over there from the south eastern direction of where I'm standing at. The second dream comes from Part 5, Section 10, letter S, and its core name is S10, 1SND. In the month of February 13, 2010, I dreamt that I stood inside my father's room here at Halsey Street. His room was located on the top floor. I'm here on the second floor. Upstairs is the third floor, where my father lived at. And there, lying upon the floor of his room, was a white air conditioner and 3 white duck masks. His AC was clogged up with gray dust, which were in front of his AC and behind his AC. Here is the second proof of evidence for Section 9, letter A, and the first sign for S10, 1S and D, coming fulfillment, which was presented to me in the month of July 12, 2010. When I came into my house here at Halsey Street, it was daytime. Then my mother told me that my father now has an air conditioner in his window. Then I immediately realized that part of S10, 1SND was partially being fulfilled before my eyes. But later that day, I also realized that I had a half pack of white dust masks that I purchased from one of the corner store on my block. The reason why I had these white dust masks was because I had done some work in the backyard of my home here at Halsey Street 1 week earlier. So in one day, there were 2 signs revealed to me for one particular dream. And I'm going to go outside and show the AC that's upstairs in the 3rd floor window of my father's room. And I will also show the 3 white dust masks that are more or less left over from a pack of dust masks that I used, like I said, to do some work in the backyard earlier. That week of July 2010.